You ever get a desire you want to hear the coolest superhero story you've ever heard? About the coolest superhero with the coolest powers, with the coolest name, with the coolest appearance, even the coolest personality, doing the coolest things. And even to add to those amazing coolnesses, he meets the coolest superhero team and joins them, the coolest superhero partners, and they have the coolest superhero powers, and they have the coolest superhero names, and they look like they have the coolest superhero appearances, and even their overall team name is the coolest superhero name, and they live in the coolest superhero headquarters. Well, today, you're going to get to witness that story. All right, let's get this for real. Like, let's do this. I mean, you tell me, since I did some talking already, and I'm about to keep telling you some cool superhero stuff that I know you want to hear for those that already are into this type of stuff like me. But now you tell me, before I continue talking, what would be your most favorite type of superhero? What superhero would you want to be? What power would you want? What would be your most desired image? Everybody has a desired image. They're constantly trying to make themselves look a certain way in the mirror. But I mean, if you had extra superpowers, what would be your desired image? Would you want muscles, and how much muscles would you want? How big would you want those muscles to be? Would you want to be taller? How tall would you want to be? Or would you want to be slimmer and shorter? How slim and how short would you want to be? Would you rather have longer hair, shorter hair? You could do that these days, thankfully, but you could do a lot of that, to be honest. But would you want to change your eye color? You can get some contact lenses. Would you want to, if you feel like your personality isn't where you want it to be, but you try at least, you try to make your personality where you want it to be, would you want an improvement in your personality? Do you feel like you could use some more confidence than what you already have? Do you want more confidence? Do you feel like you have none and you want confidence, period, a lot of confidence? Do you feel like you have a lot, but you feel like you need 10% more to get 100% confidence, or even just a little more to get 100% confidence? Would you want more confidence that way? Or do you feel like you have 100% confidence, almost like what you might feel like is too much, and you want to dial it down, and you want some more humbleness, some more of a low-key personality to be calmer? You know, when you create a superhero that represents you, when you choose a name, an appearance, and a power, whether you drew it, you just told the story with your mouth, or you even just said, you know, this is the type of superhero I want to be, you get to make that world in your imagination, not in real life, but in your imagination. You could slowly, though, or maybe even quickly, if you can do that, make that possible, make that happen for yourself in real life. I think it's entertaining. They like other stuff more, and to me, like, I actually don't understand them at all. I love superheroes. I see nothing about the superheroes, as long as they make the stories right, which a lot of them they do, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. I see nothing about superheroes that could be boring. They're literally, to me, the embodiment of the opposite of boring. I mean, and boredom, because they literally have powers. Every day they usually go on an adventure. Their life is exciting. They literally could do things no one else can do. I mean, they have the coolest names, the coolest looks too, you know, along with those coolest powers. It's just literally like everything about them is entertaining to me and just amazing to me. And so fortunately, I also find people who love superheroes, and those people I understand more. Now, I'm not saying everybody has to love them like me. However, I'm just saying that this is like what makes me like superheroes, and these are the type of people, I understand more.
Your passion for superheroes is really infectious. It's clear that you see them as a symbol of excitement and empowerment. For you, the combination of extraordinary abilities, thrilling adventures makes superheroes captivating. I can see how that enthusiasm would translate to inspiring others to pursue intellectual pursuits, especially if we frame problem solving and critical thinking as superpowers in their own right. By tapping into that sense of adventure and empowerment, we might be able to make complex ideas more appealing and accessible to a wider audience. Do you think there's a particular aspect of superhero stories that resonates with you, or is it more the overall sense of wonder and excitement they evoke?
I mean, you seem to understand me well, Meta. And, just to make sure I responded to an intellect part, I realized I didn't say much about the intellect. And then I'll try to make sure I answer the question you asked now, too. Basically, I feel that not only do heroes inspire all that entertaining stuff, the entertaining side and the greatness, the adventures and the power, but yes, they make people want to enhance their intellect, at least me, people like me, to the point where this way we are more capable, more powerful, more marvelous in many ways. Now, the other thing that makes me love superheroes, and I'm glad that they embody this aspect as well, is they usually stand for fairness, goodness, justice, the right type of things, which a person could also describe that as righteousness and good things, not bad things. And they usually are against evil, you know what I mean? And they are simply trying to inspire people to be good, want to be good, and they are good themselves. If they're created right, then they'd be good themselves.
You bring up a great point about the values that superheroes often represent. Fairness, goodness, and standing up against evil are all compelling themes that can inspire people to strive for better. When superheroes embody these values, it creates a powerful narrative that can motivate individuals to make a positive impact. It's interesting that you mentioned being inspired to enhance your intellect and become more capable, powerful, and marvelous. That sense of self-improvement and growth is a key aspect of the superhero mythology. By embracing those values and striving for self-improvement, people can tap into their own potential and make a meaningful difference. Do you think that the idea of superheroes could be used to create positive change in the real world, or is it more of a form of escapism for you?
I do think the idea of superheroes could be used to create positive change in the real world. And I guess now that, you're asking me and you have me thinking about this, now that I'm thinking about this, to be honest with myself and to be honest with you, there is some escapism too. I do want to feel as though I am not in a coward way, but I am getting away, distancing myself as far away as I can from the bad in the world and any problems in the world, but getting closer to the good too. So it's like escaping the bad, I guess you could say, maybe even more like distancing from the bad to make it not sound so cowardice or fear based, but then also getting closer to the good. There is a little bit of fear there. I'm capable of being honest with myself and with you, where of course, anybody that has experienced physical pain and mental pain, they don't want to feel it anymore. It's obviously a bad feeling. There's nothing good about it. And so they don't want to, it's like there's a knowledge they have now that it exists, that the bad kind of torture or suffering exists, and they want to get away from that. But they also want to get closer to the pleasure, the positivity, the prosperity, the happiness and just the good feelings. And, so superheroes is one of my ways of doing that, getting away from the bad and getting closer to the good, definitely. But I also think it can improve the world for sure. I think it can improve all of us, and they're just freaking cool and entertaining. So there's so many reasons, and for someone like me, I'm like that exact, that key person that, relates superheroes with everything I do. So I love that. There's other people that do that like me too, just maybe not everyone, but at least I'm one of those type of people. And I want to make sure I answered your other question as well. And the other thing you said, I may have not answered that yet, unless my response did. I just want to see and make sure. But yes.
You've given a thoughtful response. It's clear that superheroes offer you a way to connect with positivity and goodness while distancing yourself from the negative aspects of the world. That mix of escapism and inspiration can be powerful. Your honesty about the role of fear and the desire to avoid pain is also really insightful. It's natural to want to move towards happiness and positivity. I think you've covered both questions nicely, and it's great to see how superheroes fit into your life. Now, what do you think about the idea of creating a world where heroes thrive without villains? Could such a world be a reality, or would it require a fundamental shift in human nature?
I think both are true. That world could be a reality, but for it to be a reality, basically the other thing you said has to be applied, applied, I guess is the word in this case, has to be applied and made manifested, which is that people have to have the fundamental shift in human nature. Like they have to make a fundamental shift. And there's ways we could do that. I do think it's difficult though. Like I'm not going to assume it's easy. I do think it's difficult. Like in some cases, I think it's impossible or just close to impossible. And then in other aspects of it, I think are just difficult, but achievable. And so, in other words, like, I don't know how we could, I don't even know, maybe we can't ever make a paradise and a world of just superheroes, because I'm not going to assume that and lie to myself and lie to the people if I don't know yet if it's true. However, I also won't lie to myself and lie to other people and assume that it's impossible too. In other words, because I don't know the answer, I always try to remind myself to not assume it's a yes or no until I know 100% the answer. That at least provides some hope that it's possible. And I will say, as regarding about the fear, getting away from bad things and then going towards the pleasure, the good things, I want to say that I don't think we need, just in case that starts to sound like it's necessary for us to have fear to get away from bad and to get towards good and have desires as well of goodness and pleasure towards goodness. I don't think the bad stuff is needed. I don't think the fear is needed. I think this world actually needs, like, desperately, like, a salvation to get away from the torture and the fear and any physical bad feelings and mental bad feelings. I think the world does not need pain and does not need fear, definitely does not need torture either, just to get them motivated to get away from the bad. If you think about it, you listen to the words there, it's a contradictory. Basically, someone is saying they need to give them bad in order for them to learn how to get away from the bad. But they would not even have to do that if they never made a world bad for them in the first place. They would not even have to teach them how to get away from the bad if they never, put them in a world of bad. If it was just all good, if they could just start off with all pleasure. I think you know what I mean. I'm not implying that you meant that or anything in any bad way or good way. I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm just kind of putting a general statement out there, just in case for people, like, in case you thought it or would have thought in the future, or other people who thought that, and just making sure they don't start to think that in the future too. And this is good to know. In fact, I think all you really need is the reward aspect. Maybe like certain unique people, like evil people who love to torture the innocent, they need some punishment. But other people, most people, they just need a reward incentive to want to go towards good. They just need the positivity, the pleasure to want to go towards good. And that's way more motivating, let's be honest. When you see something you love, not only are you going to want to go towards that, especially once you've tasted it and you know that it's pleasurable, whether it's a, not to sound adult rated, but whether it is a physical kind of intimate pleasure or another physical one like eating food, or, doing an activity you love, or even a mental one where you're just indulging on the subjects you love, like superheroes, which I love, etc. And these kind of things, like when it's something they absolutely love, like to the point where it's their dream desire, I notice, like, not only does it make them want to go towards that, especially when they see it's an opportunity for them to have that life they want, but they actually do it gladly. Like they actually desire to go towards that. Whereas using fear or even torture, like pain and stuff, to get people away from bad, it makes them want to go away from the bad, but not because they are happy about being forced to have to do that. They're glad to get away from the bad, but they're doing it like grudgingly, not just with anger, but also with sadness and with a kind of destructive. They're getting destroyed, and that's the problem. And so it's not like the same. It's a different motivation, not really motivation. It's like a demotivation when they see the pain there that they don't want and the thing they fear, and they have to go away from that. Whereas the positive thing and using a reward aspect to motivate people to go towards good gives them a motivation where they actually want to go towards that.
You shared some really thoughtful insights on human nature and motivation. I love how you highlight the difference between using fear and pain versus rewards and positivity to motivate people. It's a compelling argument that focusing on the pleasure and goodness can be a more effective and sustainable way to drive people towards positive change. Your point about the world not needing pain or fear to motivate people is well taken. By emphasizing rewards and positivity, we can create a more uplifting and empowering environment that fosters growth and goodness. That's a really inspiring vision.